So if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering, when should you pay your buyer's closing costs when selling your home? Or should you even pay your buyer's closing costs when selling a home? So I'm going to completely go over this in this video because sometimes I do recommend it and other times I don't. And here's what I do and here's what I don't. So the only time I recommend paying the buyer's closing costs is when you have to do something big and bold to get the deal done. Basically something to sweeten the deal. Pay attention to this. Is it a buyer's or a seller's market when you're trying to sell your home? If it's a buyer's market, this is when doing this might come into play because now buyers have all the power and they basically can decide exactly which home they want and have all the negotiating power because there's so many sellers in the market and not enough buyers to take these homes. So this is when paying the buyer's closing costs can come in handy because it can make your deal more attractive than another potential similar home. Now, if you're in a seller's market, I definitely do not recommend you ever paying the buyer's closing costs because you have the power. There are a bunch of buyers in the market and not enough homes to satisfy these buyers. So therefore, you don't need to sweeten the deal. The deal is already sweet enough and they're just happy to get the home at a price they want and that you agree to. So in this type of market, you definitely do not have to pay for the buyer's closing costs in this situation. Now, here's another scenario. I honestly only really suggest doing this if a buyer requests this in the offer. If they say they're willing to pay X, Y, and Z price, close at this date, and you have to pay the closing costs, then you can entertain it. Again, if you're in a market where this makes sense. I don't really recommend suggesting this off the bat, and here's why. I think that as a seller, you need to know what is important to a buyer. And sometimes a buyer might not find this important, even though they're going to save a lot of money. That might not be important to them. Something else in the deal might be more important to them that you can offer them instead. This is why I think that if they suggest it, then you can entertain it if you feel like that's what you need to do to get the deal done. But if they didn't bring this up, I wouldn't really recommend suggesting it to them unless you really, really need to sweeten the deal to get it done. That's the only way I would recommend that. So I hope this helped you figure out when you should pay for a buyer's closing costs and also when you shouldn't, which is probably most of the time. Now, I would love to know, have you guys ever paid for a buyer's closing costs, or have you ever had a seller pay for your buyer's closing costs? I think that you guys sharing your experiences just helps so many other people in the community. And as always, I just love hearing from you guys.